All right, guys. Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Uh, my name is Manoj Patil. I'm the owner of New Horizon. I'm also a college president. Online students, if you can hear me, can you do a thumbs up, please? Okay. And if for a few minutes, if you guys want to turn your cameras on, that will be great as well. So we are missing few students still. So but we just don't have time to wait, so we're going to get started. All right, so is there any student who doesn't have the materials yet? You guys all good? So online students, you have the materials? Okay,
Yeah, I have all mine.
okay. All right, so I'm going to read out your names just to make sure that you're here. Easton? Okay. Aisha? Okay. Ian? Cole?
Here.
Shelly? Clara?
Here.
Krishank?
Here.
Drew?
Here.
Aiden?
Here.
Lincoln? Okay, so we are missing one or two students. Okay. Um, Quick question. So we're gonna get started right away. Have you guys done the homework one? So Wes, yes, yes. Online students, if you have done the homework, just do a thumbs up quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Ian, okay, all good. Okay, everybody has done the homework. You have the homework sheet now online, so take a printout. You're gonna follow that one. I hope you have your graphing calculator today. And do you have?
I have a normal calculator, not a graph. I'm just sharing.
Gonna share. Okay. Well, starting today, if not today, next week, I would like you guys to have this one or kind of any graphing calculator which is allowed by the ACT. You need to have it. Okay. Today, we can somehow manage it. Lincoln, I may have to just give you mine, and then. But next week, I expect you guys to have it. Sounds good. Next. If you open your the stuff we sent you, there should be a map packet, like a binder stuff. Can you open that one, please? Yep. It should be like a clear sheet at the top with the formulas and stuff like that. Can you? Do you have that, online students? Okay. Again, I expect online students to interact with us, otherwise I will have no clue. So please make sure you stay agile in terms of responding to it. All right, good. Now, we're gonna get started right away. We don't have time to waste. We're gonna go to page 4. And you're in advanced level, so things will be tough, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys some time, maybe 5 minutes or so, to read the top portion, trigonometric functions, just the trigonometric functions. You have maybe 3-4 minutes. Let's get started. As you read through this, a couple of things to remember throughout the semester. Um, you know, we are not here to waste time, your time or my time, and it's going to be very informal. If you have a question here or online, just unmute and ask questions. If you ask questions, it'll be fun for me as well. I can share a lot of stories, a lot of examples. 16 years I've been doing this, 6,500 students. Um, if you don't interact, there's so much we can do. Okay, so I expect you guys to be you're in the advanced level, so I expect you guys to be sharp be here to learn, okay? And it'll be tough, and there'll be a lot of things you may not know, or you may have forgotten. That's the reason you're here. But again, the most important thing is, even if you're wrong, even if you don't know, the interaction is going to be crucial. Not just with me, you'll have three more instructors you'll be working with. So I expect you guys to be on time, maybe 3:50 Central Time. You need to be here online as well, so that we can start at 4 sharp. Fair enough? Couple more minutes on trigonometric functions.
Yeah, this is the most important one, you have to remember.
Yeah, I'm on pre-calc, so I've been trained.
Yeah.
I just, SOHCAHTOA and cosine.
All right. So let me tell you how I teach so that you guys have a clear understanding before we get started, okay? So if I'm explaining something, I would like you to stop writing and just listen. You'll have time to write it down. When I give an example, I would like you to try it. I'm going to solve each and every problem. Sounds good? But when I'm lecturing or teaching a topic, I want full focus on the whiteboard. Sounds good? All right. Let's get started with the first question. Okay? Again, you have a notebook that has been provided. That's all yours to write. Okay? Again, I'm okay if you don't know things. Okay? I won't be okay if you don't know by the end of the semester. Okay? So you have a right angle triangle with these three sides and two angles, alpha and theta. My first question is, find cosecant alpha times tan theta. Get started. If you don't know, that's okay. We'll try it. Once you do the problem and you're done, you just have to unmute and tell me your name, and if you're face to face, just raise your hands and put it down so I know who has done it and stuff like that. All right. I'm gonna get started here. So again, if you're done with this problem, I expect you to tell me so I know who has done it. So again, I'm lecturing, so I want you to listen up, okay? You'll have time to write it down. Writing is easy, okay? Just focus on learning. So there are 6 trigonometric functions. 3 are called the fundamental trigonometric function. So any trigonometric function does only a simple thing. It does a relation between one angle and two sides. So for example, when I write sine alpha, it says alpha is this reference angle here, opposite to this angle, of course, is here, A, divided by the hypotenuse. That's all it does. A trigonometric function relates an angle to a ratio of sides. All 6 of them do the same thing. So, but they are very powerful. You need, when you take calc and higher level calculus, this becomes your baseline understanding. Okay? So a trigonometric function has 3 things: an angle and a ratio of 2 sides. So the first 3, sine, cosine, and tangent, are called the fundamental trigonometric functions. That's what you have in the calculator as well. The remaining 3 are called the extended functions. You don't need to know those actually, but it'll be helpful. So sine alpha is basically opposite or hypotenuse. The opposite of this is called the cosecant alpha. And you can see it's just flipped, hypotenuse or opposite. So your goal should be to know the first 3, sine, cosine, and tangent. So if you know this is easy. You just flip it. Sounds good? So it says find cosecant alpha, that's what you have here, square root of a squared plus b squared divided by a times tangent theta. Tangent is the fundamental trigonometric function. So this is your theta here, is defined as opposite or adjacent, b or a. Sounds good? So, of course, you just take b times square root of a squared plus b squared divided by a squared. That's your answer. So there are 60 questions in ACT Math, 60 minutes. There are 3 levels of ACT difficulty level. The first 20 are the easiest, medium, and the hard. You expect this question to be around question number 50. Yeah,
I have a question.
sure.
So if sine is opposite over hypotenuse, and this is the opposite of that, wouldn't it be square root of a squared plus b squared over b if it's for theta? Oh no, it's for, that's my bad. No, I read it wrong.
Got it? Okay. That's okay.
I thought
That's
it was
okay.
from theta.
Couldn't you reduce this further?
What's that?
Couldn't you reduce this further?
You can't reduce this further. You cannot reduce this further because this is in the radical term. You cannot you cannot basically further simplify. Sounds good? There's nothing much you can do after this in terms of simplification. Did anybody get this correct? 1. Online? 2. Go ahead and write down this.
Is there a reason that you can't unsquare the a and the b?
This one?
Yeah, why can't you simplify those?
With this one? Or,
No, like if it's under the square root and it's squared, wouldn't you just get rid of the square? Oh, you can't do that?
because this is a plus here.
Okay.
So, rule to remember, okay? If you have an a squared like this, you sure can simplify. Because, but if it's a plus something here, the operation changes. You can't touch it. You just can't absolutely do anything with this. So, make sense? Of course, if the radical was in the denominator, then you have to do what's called a conjugation. We'll talk about that later on some other time. So you expect this question to be around 50. You should take around a minute to do it in the real test. And online students, I'm going to keep reminding you for some time at least that you have to interact and ask questions. Because you're behind the screen and I can't see you guys doesn't mean you should not interact, because you're going to waste your time and money. So, sounds good? Any questions? I can tell you one thing of what I used to do when I was a student. anytime I got something wrong, that's the first thing I went home and practiced. And my rule was 3 times. That habit is still with me today. As a college president, if I don't know something, I go home and read it several times so that I know what I'm doing. Okay, so same triangle, question number 2. Okay, find cosine squared theta divided by cotangent alpha. Same triangle, and you have the formulas in front of you guys. In the real test, you have to know these formulas. So let's go. How many have completed the question? 1, 2, 3. Let's see, online, anybody? Do you guys need more time? Okay, all right, let's go. Again, same question, same concept here. So this square means the ratio is squared. That's all it is, okay? Simple. So cosine squared theta, so this is theta, reference angle. Cosine is defined as adjacent or hypotenuse. So adjacent or hypotenuse, and it is squared, divided by cotangent alpha. So of course, this is where you have to know that the cotangent is an extended function. Its original function is tangent alpha. Alpha is here. Tangent is defined as opposite or adjacent. So it's A divided by B is tangent. So cotangent alpha will be flipped. B divided by A. Sounds good? All right, so first of all, there's a square term here. So let's take care of that one. So A squared divided by square root and square cancels. A squared plus B squared divided by B divided by A. So you have a fraction divided by a fraction. So I have a simple rule to teach you guys if you don't know this. Take the numerator of the first one and the denominator of the second. They get multiplied A cubed. A cubed divided by, and then these, the denominator and the numerator get multiplied, B times A squared plus B squared. Again, nothing you can further simplify. Sounds good? How many got this? 1.
Why don't you turn it into multiplication when you're dividing by that?
That's too much time. That's 4th grade. You don't have time in ACT. So the rule to remember, Here's the rule to remember. A divided by B divided by C divided by D is equal to AD divided by BC. Shortcut, boom. You really don't have time in ACT to do flipping the multiplication thing and all those things. You just don't. All right, let's see. How many got this step correct? I want you guys to raise hands or do a thumbs up. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Okay, all of you got this. If you got this step correct, why didn't you get the final answer correct? Where did the mistake happen?
I messed up on the multiplication.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why this helps, right? Second, remember though, you cannot do anything when there's a positive sign here, okay? So it's an additional binomial. You just can't do anything. Simplification is very hard when you have minuses and the plus. You guys good?
Yeah.
Any questions? Any thoughts? Okay. In the middle of the page 4, there is something called trigonometric relationships, also called trigonometric identities. I want you to read that. They're all but Pythagorean theorem, okay? A square plus B square is equal to C square, just written in a different format. And the first one is called the fundamental trigonometric identity. Sine square x plus cosine square x is equal to 1. Of course, that's the fundamental and everybody should know that. But they're all written differently, meaning Pythagorean theorem, okay? Try question number 3. Put a star mark. This is an important one for you guys. Read the question correctly, completely. Understand. You're in advanced level. The margin of error is very less. It's not what you write, it's how well thought it is. All right, how many have an answer? 1, 2, online, 3, 4. Okay. How many are confident your answer is correct? Okay. So one of the biggest things I have observed, again, teaching 6,500 students over the years, is a difference between a 30, a 36, and a 24. Students who are getting a 36, not only they know the material, but they're confident. A student who is getting 30, know the material, has some confidence. Student who at 24, think they know the material, think they have the confidence, they actually don't know the material. That's what is the difference. So if you want to pivot to 30, you have to know the material first. That builds the confidence. Sounds good? So the goal of this class is to change both. And it starts with knowing the material. If you don't know the formula, it doesn't matter how smart you are, you're not going to get the problem right. Simple, right? It's just as simple as it gets. So, if your intent is to get the big 3.0 plus scores, you gotta have the big intent to study. You got to prioritize ACT. Otherwise, it's not gonna happen. Just won't happen. It's coming to class, doing the homework, will give you a 3-point lead. Okay? Homework is 2 points, coming to class is 1 point. The remaining 3 points is gonna come from your efforts at home. Not homework, extra things. Sounds good? Some of you I know, some of your scores I know, by the way. So I know what it takes to take that leap. Some of our students have gone up by 9 points here. 25 to a 34. That's ridiculously amazing increase. But that student worked hard. Worked really hard. She was at Heelan actually. She's finishing her Notre Dame. She's in senior Notre Dame right now. So, expectations are pretty easy. Anybody can expect big things from yourself, right? Oh, I want to climb the Mount Everest. That's easy. Doing the work is going to be hard. So, have small expectations, reach that expectation, then create a next expectation. Sounds good? As a college president, I tell my employees the same thing. If you try to reach the stars, nothing is going to happen. Take baby steps. But you got to be consistent. And you got to have a clear visual aim of where you want to be and how you want to reach there. And I want to help there. All right. Pretty important for things to discuss here. Now, the first thing you can see on page number 4, there's a formula, very important. Tan theta is equal to sine theta divided by cosine theta. So, express cosine theta in terms of sine theta. So, to solve for cosine theta here, you just actually flip these two, simple shortcuts. So, cosine theta is equal to sine theta divided by tan theta. So, this is one of the choice here. Sounds good? Next. Through the trigonometric identities, sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta is equal to 1. So I'm going to solve for cosine theta in terms of sine theta here. Minus sine squared theta both sides. So cosine squared theta is equal to 1 minus sine squared theta. Then I'm going to square root that. So cosine theta is equal to plus or minus square root of 1 minus sine squared theta, which is this one. So the answer is make sense? Did anybody get answer E without guessing?
I did D. I found this, I found that one because of the equation. I switched it and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But I did not find that long other one.
This was question number 58 in the real test. This was a real test question. Here's what I would like you to do. Before you write things, have a mental preparation, okay? And then without looking at the whiteboard, see if you can do it. If you can do it without looking at the whiteboard, that means you have understood and comprehended the steps. Okay? 2 minutes. That's how you learn. Okay? Writing from the whiteboard is damn easy. Anybody can do that. What you're writing, why you're writing, does it make sense to you, is important. Any questions? Does this make sense though? So again, simple idea, go home, pick out of the three, which one do you want to practice the most? More you practice, more you remember, less frustration you'll have. So you have to think about this. During the real test, you come across a question, there is two feelings you're gonna have. One, gosh, I know this, boom, done. Or I think I have an idea, but I'm not knowing it completely, which is pissing me off. You have these two choices in the real test, every single question. So you decide which one you want to pick. And for that to happen, preparation starts now, today. That's what it takes. Okay. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Expectations are pretty easy. Anybody can have one. Moving on, question number 4. Now you need your calculator. Before we give we start with the calculator. Starting today, every student in this classroom will have degrees as the mode. Okay. So how do you do it? Go to mode. At the top, there's a mode. Go to number 3. It says radian and degrees should be highlighted. Is that clear?
What's the difference? Just
Significant, and we're going to study that in class number 5. We're going to study here. 180 degrees is pi radians, so it's a completely
Wait,
different.
does that mess with like your does that mess with like cosine, tangent?
Everything.
I had that off.
One student actually in the real test at New Horizon, who took the real test, very smart kid, had this mistake, and ended up getting like a 16 or something like that in ACT math.
I did that on a
Next time, of course, we corrected it, and he got a 35. So mistakes can be crucial. All right, question number 4. Find x. pretty simple. You should get this question around 40, 35, 40-ish. Okay. All right, let's get started here. So it's again, as I said, trigonometric function deals with an angle and two sides. That's what you have here. Your job is to identify which is the appropriate trigonometric function. So you have an angle, adjacent side, and hypotenuse. So cosine 22 degrees is adjacent over hypotenuse. In the real test, you want to write this step, okay? You don't want to waste time. Then, of course, multiply x by both sides. X cosine 22 degrees is equal to 288 feet. Divide cosine 22 degrees both sides. X is equal to 288 feet divided by cosine 22 degrees. Somebody tell me the answer.
310.618.
So 311 feet. ACT doesn't care about decimal places. Does anybody have 311 feet? One. Anybody online? 2, 3. All right. So we have 3 people get it right. So let me ask you. Again, this is a real ACT question, okay? So, ACT math has 5 multiple choices, okay? Well, we know this answer is correct, but this was not in the answer choice, the 311 feet. So my question to you is, what do you think was the answer they had given which was correct other than 311? And I want you to be guessing it. You may be wrong. It's okay with me.
288 over cosine of 22 degrees.
Good guess, but that was not the one. Keep going. It's not that easy.
312 feet?
What's that?
Did they round it up to?
No,
312?
they had 3. No. It was no. It's okay. Keep going. I want you to interact.
Did they write it as an inverse of 1 over secant? Write it as the inverse of cosine?
Now you're talking. Actually, you're the first one to actually get it right in the last 5 years. You're pretty close. So, remember we just talked about it, right? Sine, cosine, tangent has their inverses. So what is 1 over cosine? That's secant. So the answer they wrote was x is equal to 288 feet secant 22 degrees. Because 1 over cosine is secant.
That's tragic.
And what do you think is the most wrong answer that students picked? What is the most wrong answer? what is the answer? People pick the most wrong.
Maybe 288 times the cosine of 22?
Yeah. Because they got this point correct, but they didn't see this one. They thought that's the closest and they just went with it. So you cannot just do something just for the heck of it. Sounds good? Put a big note here. You need to be careful with the inverses. That's a reciprocals. Because 1 over cosine 22, Jesus, markers. 1 over cosine 22 degrees is secant 22 degrees. This is huge for you guys. Make sense? Good. Good. Open next page, page number 5. At the middle of the page 5, there's something called trigonometric inverse. Take a few minutes to read the trigonometric inverse. All right. So you can see here, if I give an angle, if I give a side, I can find the other side, right? Now the opposite. If I give two sides, I should be able to find an angle called trigonometric inverse. Pretty simple, straightforward actually. If I know two sides, I can find an angle. So whenever we talk about the word inverse, trigonometric inverse, you get only one thing. That's an angle. And how many angles are in a triangle? 3. In a right angle, 1 is 90. So you either get this or this. I'm going to repeat one more time. An inverse always give you an angle. Sounds good? Do not ever forget that. And actually, people forget that. It is as simple of a concept, people don't remember. And to get an inverse in your calculator, you have to do second tan or second cosine or second sine. Okay, that's right. Try this problem, question number 5. Find theta. Find theta.
We don't need decimals, correct?
Round down, round up. It doesn't matter. All right. So first thing is to write down what trigonometric function it is. Opposite, adjacent, tan theta is equal to 16.5 divided by 20. So theta is equal to tan inverse. Remember, the minute you see the tan inverse, you get an angle. 16.5 divided by 20. What do you guys got?
40 degrees.
Do you guys get that?
We accidentally mixed up You put
flipped it.
20 on top, and we got 50.
Of course, right? It has to add up to 90 degrees.
So for a question like this, do you think it would just be 40, or do you think it had like a inverse answer? Like,
No.
as I thought.
No, I've not seen that. One time they left it as is like this.
Oh, okay.
That because some people may not have calculators, so that's very common to leave it as it is. To mess around like this is very rare, but they have done that.
Mm-hmm.
This was question number 54 actually. This was such an easy question, but when they tweak it, the answer
It's
choices,
not,
yeah.
right.
So, what does an inverse give you?
The angle.
An angle,
Oh.
period, okay? Nothing else. Next question. Let me complete this question first before you write this, okay? Because I may have to change it a little bit. So give me a little time. Okay, go. This is question number 60 in the real ACT test.
Verse 16.
60.
Oh, 60.
What angle are we using for?
What's that?
What angle are you using?
I don't know. Does anybody have an answer? One, two, anybody online? Anybody online? Okay. Yeah, let's go. I want to hear your answers.
A squared over c squared. A squared over c squared times the cosine -1 squared.
Okay. All right. So one thing you have to remember in math is any problem, doesn't matter what it is, you always start with inside. Okay? So this is my inside portion right here. This is called inside out method. Okay? So you have an inverse, and I told you an inverse always gives you an angle. So, and how is cosine defined as? Adjacent or hypotenuse. So what angle is adjacent to this side A? So this is it, right? So this entire thing is nothing but cotangent C. And tangent is defined as, tangent C is opposite or adjacent, C divided by A. You flip it, A divided by C squared. A squared divided by C squared. Inverse gives you an angle. I repeated 3 times for a reason. Right? If you knew it has to be A, B, C, and B cannot be, it's already 90, it has to be A or C. Make sense? Go ahead and write down this, please. If you have any questions, you gotta stop me and ask. I don't want you to blindly write things. I don't mind repeating. I can find different ways to explain things, but you guys have to ask questions. Remember, you're in advanced level. You just don't have
Can you
time to.
explain how you got the first part of the problem, like the cosine c squared?
Oh, the cotangent, you mean? Okay, so let me write this.
Yeah.
Maybe let me kind of expand this. Okay. So you know, cosine angle C is adjacent or hypotenuse. Right? This is cosine C, and why am I picking angle C? Because angle A is the adjacent side here. So angle C is equal to cosine inverse of square root of A divided by square root of A squared plus C squared. So this entire thing here is here, which is angle C.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Good, next.
So then once you get cotangent, like cotangent of c times c squared, why
But
did you,
remember, the square is outside the term. So cotangent C is just a ratio of 2 sides again.
so
So tangent C is opposite or adjacent C divided by A. So cotangent C will be A divided by C. And then you square the term. So the function value is squared.
so you're not multiplying by the angle, you're just finding the angle to then find the cotangent.
No. So remember though, if I just write cotangent like this, there's no meaning to it. It has to be with an angle.
Okay.
Make sense? Cotangent of an angle, sine of an angle. Sine by itself becomes sin. It's really a sin at the time.
So
Make
you
sense?
just keep expanding upon that, cause you gotta find, so A to the second over C to the second is what, like, the answer on the ACT?
Yeah, this is how they were.
Okay.
This was actually question number 60. See, the point is people see the size of the problem is like, oh my god, it has to be difficult. Just because it's like 60th question doesn't mean it has to be difficult. You have to break it down. This is where your fundamentals come into picture. Sounds good? All right. So online students, hang tight. You'll have a 5 minutes break. Welcome to the class. Recover is going to start with ACT English. Again, don't log off or anything like that. We are just going to turn the cameras off for 5 minutes for a break, and we'll see you next week.
Just one more thing on your question. Can I see this question?
Sure, please do.
There's also like the higher up you get in math, the more common it is that they don't write it like this. They'll write it like of angle C like that. This and this are the same thing. So I know a lot of people see this and they think they need to square it, like square the angle and then take the cotangent. This and this are completely the same thing. So this means cotangent C and then you square it. So I just wanted to make that point because I know people get confused a lot.
Function is always squared, not the
Yeah,
angle.
Not the angle. You're not squaring the angle.
Because angle squaring means nothing. Okay, cotangent c squared means has no meaning to it. So the function value can be squared. All right. Okay. Good. See, if you ask questions, things come up. Okay. All right. Hang tight, guys. Take 5 minutes quick break.